So there is one thing that I can guarantee you is going to happen when you try to stop drinking. It's gonna show up. It might be day 1, it might be day 21, but it is 100% going to happen. And it's also the thing that's gonna make you think that you're actually failing. It's going to be a struggle. It's gonna derail you. Hell, it could even make you stop. In fact, it could not only make you think you want to stop. What if I told you this is the number one reason why people relapse? So before we get into it, those of you that are new here, I'm Dan Hunter. I set up Clear Mind, Clear Life to help people like you, like me, that are problem drinkers. You can book a call with me below and we can get you off the alcohol pretty sharpish. Anyway, so what is this thing that I'm talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that one thing is discomfort, okay? So it's gonna be restlessness. It's gonna be a foggy head. Hell, it's gonna be anxiety. I know all about anxiety. And if you're drinking more than you should, I'm guessing you probably know about anxiety as well. And there's gonna be a fair amount of like irritability and stuff like that as well. But the thing is, it is not failure. Think of it like the price you have to pay, okay? Because you've been ingesting this poison into your body that you're becoming slowly dependent on, and you remove it and your whole chemical system just goes out of whack. Your dopamine's screwed, your adrenaline system's screwed, your anxiety's screwed, you're probably depressed, you're probably masking things with the alcohol that come rushing back. So this discomfort is not only to be expected, but it's actually to be embraced. And with this discomfort that or what I'm calling discomfort, it feels a lot worse in the moment. I have a great expression that I heard years ago, which is a lot of people feel fear, which is FEAR, false evidence appearing real. The whole teachings that we go into in the course is all about reframing. A common misconception are things like, if I'm still thinking about alcohol, I must be failing. No, of course you're not failing. You would be the first person in the history of drinking to not think about drinking when you stopped. That's not failure, that's kind of feedback. Or something like, I feel anxious, so I must be failing, this mustn't be going right. No, anxiety is an omnipresent thing with alcohol. They go hand in hand. It's a bit like the chicken and the egg, which came first. I was a big anxiety drinker. I had anxiety terribly for years and years and years. But anyway, there's another video about that, which anxiety and alcohol. If you've been drinking for any length of time, you probably started off with some degree of anxiety that the alcohol quelled. But then over the years, the alcohol actually ramps up the anxiety. Petrol on a fire, you know? Of course you're going to feel anxious. You're not doing anything wrong. It's gonna suck, but we just have to sit with it. Again, this is what we'll teach you in the course, or this is what we'll teach you when you're working with me. There's also the whole irritability aspect of it as well, or this kind of malaise, this general feeling of a darkness, a doom feeling almost. What it does is it's like the devil on your shoulder. It's tricking you into thinking, I can't go on. It's whispering whatever it can into your ear to get you to drink. It wants to strip you of your identity. It wants to strip you of your dignity, your strength, all of these things, and it wants control again. Now, okay, I'm not a religious person. Maybe that's not the best analogy for some people, but I think it's probably a good way to illustrate it. Now, with all of that said, if we're going to be feeling these things and we're going to be struggling, what can we do? Well, the good news is there's actually quite an easy thing that we can do. No, that's not true. It doesn't require, but it's certainly incredibly helpful to have somebody, whether that's me, a friend, a family member or whatever, but somebody that can help you normalize these feelings and talk through your feelings, because most of the people I work with are guys, not all, but most of them, and we tend to struggle with talking through our feelings. So we almost have a sense of guilt around our feelings because our feelings can sometimes make us feel weak and vulnerable, which we don't like. But it's all about the reframe. So if we think about it, we have two options. Option one is quit. So, we sit with these feelings. We have what is effectively some short-term pain, that restlessness, the anxiety, which is, a bitch, I know, but there is a finite lifespan to it. Again, it's beyond the scope of this video, but we'll talk about that if we work together. We'll teach you how to kind of manage this anxiety and how to put that fire out. And what you'll notice as well when you're quitting is when you're everything will ramp to the point where you're tricked into kind of almost drinking again, and that's why you need support. But what happens is you just need to get over that hump, and you'll find things get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse in terms of feelings, and then they'll start getting better and better, and that's where you almost don't need the motivation is knowing that tomorrow you're going to feel better than you did yesterday. The other option 2, is you keep drinking. What are the bonuses for keeping drinking? Well, it works, doesn't it? You get a short-term release from the problems that you have, and you get a short-term release from the anxiety. I said in another video, I never got beyond 3 days without having some kind of existential crisis. And how did I fix that? Have a drink. What do you know? It works. Again, a really unpopular opinion, or not an unpopular opinion, but something that people don't talk about is alcohol works. That's why people drink. That's why people do drugs. But it's not because they're weak and, they're stupid or whatever. It works. And it's a really unpopular thing to say in this kind of community. It's like, you wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. But all you're going to do is go straight back on that hamster wheel that you've been on for years, possibly decades. It's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? Which I use this analogy a lot. Every day is kind of the same. You don't grow spiritually, you don't grow emotionally, you don't grow as a person at all. Your relationships don't progress, and you're just stuck in this day after day after day of basically a waking hell, which you've been living. And the fact, if you're watching this video, there's a reasonable chance that you're in this state now. So we only ultimately have 2 options, which is going to be, quit or continue drinking. I know which one I chose, and I hope for your sake that you choose the right one as well. So if you're going to choose the quit option, then not only are you going to feel this discomfort, you want to think of it almost like a gift. It's a bit like, this discomfort is almost like kind of weakness leaving the body, if you like. That pain you have to go through that to kind of toughen yourself up. It's lifting weights in the gym and getting bigger biceps. You need to lift some mental weights. Also, the discomfort, most of it's mental. What that is your brain rewiring. And it's a pretty uncomfortable process. And I know all about that. And people that I've worked with. In this moment, you think, oh, that's fine, I can cope with it. But in the moment, it's very, very different, and it's very difficult. That's why diets are so hard. That's why exercise is so hard. Changing our routines is very difficult because the brain doesn't like change. Believe it or not, we have a great deal of neuroplasticity even into our adult lives. Children, sure, have much more, but it used to be believed that adults didn't really have much capacity for change, and that's nonsense. We have a huge capacity for change. You have a huge capacity for change, and you can do this. If you're gonna feel like shit, and you're gonna just feel awful, better to feel awful quitting than feeling awful the next day. Like, I don't know about you, but most people I've spoken to, the hangovers become so bad. And when I was drinking, my hangovers became so bad that anxiety the next day it felt like the world was sort of crushing me, and every issue became 1,000 times worse, and it just became awful to exist. If you can go through that, I mean, Jesus Christ, you can go through a little bit of discomfort not drinking. I'm here to help you if you want it. I think also one of the reasons why we struggle so much, I think there's a number of reasons. I think there is definitely like a neurological element of why we struggle. The brain doesn't like a lot of change, but our world today is so immediate. It's one-day ordering. You can have stuff the same day sent to you, and it's all about instant gratification and instant relief. That carries across, I think, subconsciously into your brain, where everything becomes immediate, especially with the smartphones, where you look at it I was as guilty. In fact, this is something I struggle with, is not looking at my phone at night, because you get that little dopamine hit from it. It's alcohol adjacent, isn't it? So we get these kind of dopamine rewards and hits from doing this. And it's no wonder that we struggle with alcohol when our brains have been wired for that kind of quick hit. And here's, I guess, the lesson for this is, if you're avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding growth, avoiding personal growth. Think about that for a second. Again, it's lifting weights in the gym. Your muscles are going to get sore because they need to get bigger. That's the same principle. It's the old 1980s expression, no pain, no gain. So the discomfort is guaranteed. That's going to be there no matter what. The only thing you need to decide is which discomfort you want. Is it the discomfort of regret, of hangovers, of broken relationships, of families potentially destroyed, your business, your job down the toilet? Or do you want the discomfort of quitting? Do you want the discomfort of changing your identity? Do you want the discomfort of feeling uncomfortable in your own skin? It is a temporary thing. With drinking, it's a constant thing. It's a guarantee for the rest of your life. So have a think about that. Which one do you want? I'll have another sip of my coffee whilst you think about that. So that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate your time. And if you want some help with this, book a call with me below. It's free. We can have a conversation. You can tell me about your situation and I can tell you if I can help you or not. There's a 99% chance I can, but maybe not. Now, if at the end of that call you don't want to do it, that's absolutely fine. I don't pressure people. I don't do anything like that. But I will send you away with some things that you can do on your own for free that are quite easy, that can maybe start that journey for you. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.